I think you think about all of the options and, and you look at it, the history and the facts and all these different things. And, those are thoughts that go throughout your head in those situations. So, all of those were thoughts. And then after I came on my visit here, it was a deliberate answer and deliberate and determined answer that I had, is that I wanted to come here.
What? Your reaction? I think that if we are being fair and saying since he announced for the draft out of USC to right now this moment, when Caleb Williams has been in the public eye, and there were a lot of questions about diva stuff, will teammates like him, all of that, that Caleb has handled himself as a pro incredibly well and kind of avoided potential landmines. This was one of a self-inflicted landmine because he and his dad talked to Seth, and credit to Seth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he handled that really well. I think some of his body language during losses would be a demerit. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem to take losing well, and you would see him on the sideline, but he never went to the press conference afterwards and blamed teammates or did any of that. I think he's handled the quarterback stuff that isn't playing quarterback probably even better than he's handled the playing of the quarterback up to this
Not
point.
a great sign, but
I'm just saying I would give him like an A minus on that, and I couldn't give him an A minus on how he played his rookie year. I also think, Brew, his concerns were validated by the upheaval within the Bears organization last year. I obviously was wrong in evaluating their coaching staff, the overall talent. Like, I have to wear that.
Why was that? What'd you say last year?
I thought they'd go to the Super Bowl. No,
I just wanted to hear it.
No, I obviously was wrong. But he was right in being worried about him. And so I think he has handled this quite well, personally.
I don't think Caleb Williams owed anybody an apology or an explanation.
Really?
No, because he was fully justified in questioning, he and his dad, whether or not I should go to the freaking Chicago Bears. Now, I'm one of those, I liked Burrow going to the Bengals, like, I'm that guy, I'm going to lead them. But the Bears, let's keep it real. They have been a disaster for the most part since the 90s. And they weren't even phenomenal before that. You know, they were a great team in '85. They had Walter Payton, all that. But they have been a bad situation football-wise, particularly for quarterbacks. Quarterback's been a disaster, all right? So him and his dad looking at the situation saying, can you succeed here? Do they have the right things in place? I got no problem with that. In fact, I like it. Now, were there teammates of Caleb's that he had maybe heard were bothered by the article? Was some of the front office bothered by the article?
I bet it was
and
more
maybe
fans.
Okay, yeah,
I think he didn't want the fans to.
Yeah, if he felt like, okay, I need to come out and say something to get out in front of this and put it to bed, that's fine. Because I agree with you, Nick. I think he handled himself great there. I don't think he was great last year all the time. I wouldn't give him an A minus like you. I thought at times he needed to be humbled. What I saw there is a humble guy who probably didn't want to go out and address that, but said, look, if fans, if some teammates, front, whatever, they need to hear it, fine, I'll say it. All right. But I don't think he was wrong at all to look at these other options. And at the end of the day, he went to the Bears. So I think it was great for him, and I think he showed maturity. And it looks like a better start. You know, Ben Johnson, they want to work on his body language and stuff. So far, so good, because I thought he was great in this press.
Yeah. As someone who obviously, interacts in the comment section all the time and talks to a ton of Chicago Bears fans, I don't even think I think the vast majority of actual grounded Chicago Bears fans aren't upset by this at all. They're probably like, yeah, I get it. Our franchise has been awful for years and years and years. I think some of the more hardcore live and die Bears fans are going to be like, what the heck, who are you? But that's like, you're going to have a section of those fans of those types of people in anything in life, because just the sheer volume of people out there. So I mean, this is such a non-story to me that it can't get any more of a non-story. I mean, he was justified. Greg Olson was talking about this just the other day with the herd, on the herd with Colin, talking about like that it's insane to him that nobody was really there to help him watch film. That the way how he watched film as a rookie is wildly different to how he started watching film in year 10 and beyond. And he talks about, because someone in the comment section the other day said this, and they're like, well, he's been watching film his whole life, and in college he should know. And Gray and Olsen just debunked that right away. He was like, it is night and day watching film in college than in the NFL. It's completely different. It's an art. You're also just not there just to watch film. Like he made the joke, like you're not there just to watch a movie. Like it's things change the higher and higher you get. And so it's indefensible. Like Greg Olson was literally stunned. It was just like, I just can't even understand how that's even possible. And so to me, right there, that's an example of validation. Joe Burrow, right? There was whispers about him not wanting to go to Cincinnati, or they questioned should he refuse. Cincinnati Bengals have failed Joe Burrow year after year after year. That's just a fact. That's just a reality of the situation. That there are bad, poorly run franchises in the NFL. There is a reason why year after year after year, the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans do nothing. There's a reason why year after year after year, you have the same, and I don't even want to use the teams that even have like a consistent long-time quarterback like Mahomes and whatnot, but the Rams, the Eagles, the Ravens, the 49ers, teams that over the last like decade or so with different quarterbacks, some different coaches, but definitely different quarterbacks, have been able to be competitive year after year after year. Heck, even the Dallas Cowboys. They obviously haven't been to an NFC championship in 30 years, but they're not looking like the Carolina Panthers or the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Chicago Bears or the Cincinnati Bengals, pre-Joe Burrow especially. So, it's okay when your life is on the line, when your career is on the line, when your dream is on the line. If I became some mega popular person, which will probably never happen, and I'm very happy doing with what I'm doing right now, but let's just say, for whatever reason, everyone starts watching me now, and I'm super popular, and multiple networks are looking out, and they're like, hey, we want you here, and it's just like, I don't even want to name a network, because honestly, I'm a very grateful person, so I'd be grateful for any opportunity. But if I had to choose between network 1, 2, and 3, and I really knew that I really want one, if I got offered, like, I don't know, I can't even use an example because I don't even really want to, but, just something a little bit more lower level. I'd be like, really? Like the one network, and again, I'm just not going to say the name. They have like a post-game show after all these games, and, and I'll watch a little bit of it. I'll make some videos and stuff like that. And if I got invited to be on that, it would be cool. It would be an honor. I'd be grateful, but I'd be like, I wish it was FS1. I wish it was First Things First. I wish it was the herd. I get invited to be on ESPN, and it's like, hey, we want you on, I don't know, some other show at 5 o'clock. It's like, I wish it was First Take. Let's just use FS1. It was like, we want you on FS1, and we're gonna put you next to Joy Taylor and on Speak or whatever. You're going to be next to Paul Pierce. And it's like, oh, cool. I mean, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I am going to have nothing but endless gratitude from the bottom of my heart and be like, man, this is crazy. This is a dream come true. But like, I'd rather be sitting next to the left of Nick Wright. I'd rather be, sitting on the couch talking to Colin Cowherd, So it's just like, it's just human nature. Let's just not pretend like everyone's supposed to just that we all just come into a situation completely neutral. If I was lucky enough to get drafted in the NFL, like, yeah, I really want to go to the 49ers, the Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs. I got the teams that I really would love to go to. And it's like, if I got drafted by the Carolina Panthers, I'd be like, and it would cause me angst. because I would be like, man, like, I'm so grateful, I'm so excited to play, but like, I know it's going to be so much harder to succeed here. We just know that. Everyone knows that. So I don't know. I just don't think we have to blow this up more than it really is, especially for someone who didn't even make the decision, right? Like, it's one thing if he did refuse, if he did sit out. It's one thing if he went scorched earth and he was really trying to do everything he could to not go to Chicago, but then for whatever reason it was just forced upon him, where he was just like, there's no moves for me to make. I have to go there. Then I could even understand that a little bit more. But that's not the case. They flirted with the idea. They contemplated it. They weighed the pros and cons. They did their due diligence. Like, I think it was kind of smart. Like, and it makes sense, honestly. Like, you know, like Greeny said, and he didn't make this up because I saw this well before he ever said it, but it was like Chicago was able to get a pope, you know, generate a pope before they were able to get a truly special quarterback. Like, you know, that just is what it is. And again, I do believe in, you know, gratitude is the best attitude and all of that. I do. I wholeheartedly believe that. But I can tell you something. It's a lot harder to have that attitude when you are as special and as elite and as great and as talented that, you know, as someone like Caleb or any of these other great players. It's hard. I feel as though I'm so much more grateful than I am in my life because of my failures. Where if I just kept having success after success after success at a very young age and just like didn't really fail, it would be significantly harder for me to be grateful, because I would just be like, yeah, man, I'm the man. I'm awesome. Are you kidding me? Like, if I was making these videos from the jump, if I was doing this since middle school or something, and I was getting subscribers and everyone loved me, I'd be like, dude, I'm the king. Are you kidding me? I've been doing this since 14. I'm a god. Everyone loves my takes. Everything I say is awesome. I don't care what Nick has to say, Steven, none of the those guys are clowns. They got nothing on me. I've been doing it longer, better, stronger, faster than them. Like, it would just keep going and going and going and going. And I would see it as, I built this. I built this channel. I made the money. I'm popular. I. It would be brutally hard to get beyond that, which is why we have child stars end so poorly. Because it's just like, look what I created. But because it took me so long to be able to achieve even a piece of what I've tried to achieve in my life, and because I failed so many times and was humbled so many times, when I did get the levels of success, and we're going to use that word very loosely, it's like I got nothing but gratitude. I had to make many videos that nobody watched and nobody cared about to have the true level of gratitude, to have someone even just have a couple hundred people watch a video. But it's crazy because sometimes I'll make a video and it'll be a dud. It's just a topic that no one really cares about or whatever it is. And it'll be a couple hundred, 300, 400. And it's just crazy. And I'm just like, man, no one's watching it. When literally a year and a half ago, if I made a video that got a couple hundred views on it, it would be like, I got a couple hundred views. That's amazing. A couple hundred. Do you know how hard it is to make a video to just get 15 views, 20 views, 30, 100 views? To make a video now that gets like 1,000 views, and I'm like, only 1,000 views. Like, it's always this weird moving target. And that's why you always got to be grateful. That's why I always still tell myself in that moment when I start to feel like, only that, I say, dude, if every single video you made only got 1,000 views, that's great. That's great. You can make like 15 videos a day. That's 15,000 views a day. Like, I was like, that's great. Even if it's just 1,000 views, that's better than nothing. It's better than 10. 10, you got nothing going. You don't have a channel. Nobody cares. 1,000? I mean, 1,000 people watched your video. So it's, you know, you're always kind of hitting the reset button. You're always rediscovering what gratitude is. And this is just the process for Caleb Williams. I'm not going to expect him to just have it all day one in the NFL. It's outrageous. And I admire and appreciate and respect some of the players that do have it above and beyond, or any of the people, anyone successful in their life that have it above and beyond at such a young, early age. But, it's harder when you're really successful and powerful at a very young and early age. That's just the reality of it. So I think I think he's doing a great job. I think he's all coming out and saying all the right things. I respect it. I appreciate it. I think he's been a total pro, and yeah, this is just much ado about nothing. But at the same time, this will be used as a way, this will be weaponized against him. Where if he doesn't perform, people will be like, "Oh yeah, you didn't want us, but we don't want you," or any of that type of stuff. So, but at the same time, all you do is start winning, and it doesn't matter, or just even playing well, and it doesn't matter. But we're definitely living in a tough time for quarterbacks with regards to, it just really feels like it's all or nothing. You're either an amazing elite special quarterback or you're absolute trash. Like that's the mentality that it feels like we have these conversations. You're either unbelievable and an all-time great special talent, or you're not that good. You're overrated. It's all the roster. It's the coach. It's this. It's that. Haven't won a Super Bowl. It's just, you're trash. You're nothing. And it's like, it's so extreme. And then when you become polarizing like Caleb has, it's like people are either going to love you and you either perform, and so people will praise you. And anything shy of that, it's just open season. And they'll use every single thing they have, every little bit of ammo. And unfortunately for Caleb, there's a bunch, and some fault of his own, some no fault of his own. So, I just think it just kind of is what it is. And I think so far he's dealt with it very respectfully. Just the way I see it. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caleb? How he's kind of been dealing with all of this, how he dealt with it in the past in terms of, wanting or not wanting to go to the Chicago Bears. Let me know in the comments below. I'll read every single comment, and I'm very grateful for every single comment that I get and every single thumbs up. But let me know in the comments below. I'll read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here. Absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.